Hi, my name is Heidi and I own the store TPT, The Lesson Pony. Today I thought I would talk to you about sunflower seeds, their uses and how to harvest them. The first thing I want to talk about is what to do with them. There's a lot you can do with sunflowers, and again, it's another free resource. I try very hard to do a lab 4 to 5 days a week, if not 5 days a week, but it does get expensive. Sunflowers can be planted in late May in New England, maybe earlier if you live in a more temperate climate. The nice thing about sunflowers is you can take your students out in the spring on a nice spring day when you both can't wait for summer break. Take them out, do the math, figure out how far apart you want to plant the seeds, where you want to plant the seeds. Sunflowers are very hardy plants and they really don't need a lot of care over the summer. A lot of summers I maybe go once or twice to see how they're coming along. There's some summers I haven't even gone at all, and in the fall you have beautiful sunflowers. In the fall, take your students out and look at last year's sunflowers. What I recommend is when you're planting your sunflowers in the spring, have the students with a fork put their first name and last initial or just initials by their sunflowers. You can have students post the pictures or you post them so they can see how their sunflowers came out. When the students go out in the fall to look at the sunflowers, take them out first week of school while they're still in full bloom. Ask them what for next year they'd like to grow. Are they interested in growing plants that are taller? Are they interested in larger blooms? What are the students interested in looking in? A month later, beginning of October, what you want to do is go outside and harvest your sunflowers. You harvest the plants that are drooping over, that have yellow on their backs. Bring them in, and later on in this video I'll explain to you exactly what to do with the seeds. With the seeds, there's several things you can do. Number one, you can eat them. I've never really eaten sunflower seeds. They get stuck between my teeth, so I'm not a big sunflower seed eater. You can keep them for next year, as I said, for a genetics class, get the kids off going. Or what you can do is, and what I like the best, is take the sunflowers in, keep the whole plant, the whole big sunflower there. Dry them out. Later on in the winter, when the ground is frozen, take them and put them where you know there's wildlife. The birds and the wild mammals will come. It's a great lesson in urban ecology. Bring your students outside, have them see what the sunflower had before you put them out, and then when you put them out, and you can see how much the wildlife are eating it, and it gives you a chance to see what is going on. Another use for sunflowers is at the barn. We feed a lot of sunflowers to the livestock. I'll take a quick video in the next clip of the birds. They're not going out. I guess they've seen the series manifest too many times. Thank you, and as I said, later on in this video, I'll show you how to harvest the seeds. These sunflowers are not ready yet for seeds. If you look underneath here, you see how the bottom is still green? So these are flowers that you bring inside. When you bring your sunflowers inside, make sure you cut the bottoms and put them in water within 10 minutes or bring them outside. Otherwise, the stems will close out. Now I have sunflowers here that are ready to be harvested. If you look at the back of them, you can see they're yellow and they've turned brown. These sunflowers are all set. These little pieces here are the male and female parts of the flower. Before you bring them in, what you do is you just take it off like this, and you can see all the seeds that you will get from this. With the sunflower, when you break them open, your students will like to see the material that's inside here. It's like a soft sponge-like. In New England, they used to use the sponge to clean their saddles from their horses. When sunflowers are ready to be harvested, you can see this big mammoth sunflower. It starts to fall over and it just looks almost dead. Here are the sunflowers with all the yellow pollen taken off of them. They're really not quite dry enough. So what I'm going to do is, what the old Yankee farmers used to do is, I'm going to hang them upside inside my house for about 2 or 3 days. That way they'll be nice and dry. It'll make it easier for the seeds to come off. You use a string and you can tie more than one of the sunflowers on top. See how easy these seeds come off? You just take your hands and you just go through it, and they come, these beautiful black seeds come right off like this. Again, make sure you have your students feel this material. It's a very spongy, funny feeling material. This is what the sunflower looks like when the seeds are removed. Notice how bent this sunflower is. Squirrels will actually climb up the sunflower and knock it down. That's what happened to this one. Unfortunately, I didn't have my phone that day to take a picture of the squirrel knocking the sunflower down. Here's the bowl. I put a paper towel on the bottom. You can or not. I always do. I let them soak overnight. Some people tell you to wash your sunflower seeds prior to having them dry out. I don't, for 2 reasons. Number one, I know for a fact there have been no insecticides put on them. And the second is I don't plan to eat them. They're planned to be used as seeds for next year and for my chickens.